Hi, guys. Welcome to the new podcast, The Living Liabilities. So, in this episode, we planned a little bit to do a few segments. It ended up turning into a husband recap. So now it sounds like that's just how we're going to keep these first four episodes to give you guys a good introduction of us. That's how it evolves. Living Liabilities, I think that explains itself. But it's me, Jake, and Abby talking about Hazbin Hotel episode 1 and 2. So, spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched episode 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is also out at the time of this recording, but we didn't talk about that one because we wanted to give you guys some space to watch them. So, for these first four episodes, we're just going to be summarizing Hazbin Hotel. So, for any of you that care about it or want to stick around for a funny time, or maybe you don't even know what it is, but you just want to hear about it, whatever the reason, that's what we're going to do. So we hope that you can enjoy that with us. In the future, we're going to have different segments. We're going to be talking about lots of stuff. So we're so excited to start this adventure with you all. But I just wanted to give you a little prerequisite here so nobody was like, no spoiler warning was given, no whatever. It's all here. So I hope you enjoy this episode with me, Jake, and Abby. And we will see you on the next episode of The Living Liabilities. Until next time, enjoy the episode. Now I'm going to let Abby, Jacob, Bryce take it away. I'll see you all later.
Okay, guys.
That's so stupid. Why do we do that? It was the way Jake went.
And I was like, stay still, don't move.
Hold it.
Freeze.
They can't see if you don't move. No, sorry.
Also, just so you know, I have the. So actually, this was the setup. This is actually a presidential debate between Abby and Jake. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, President Pro Tempore Jake, and soon to be President Abigail, I think. So tonight the presidential debate is good. I know Abby's just like, go wind, you know what I mean? Just open to the wind, do whatever. And Jake is
Open to the wind.
Jake, a lot of your current policies have been a lot of you're gonna do what I say exactly how I'm gonna say it, and you're not gonna get it. And so I think that
The accuracy is insane.
So I also have DuckDuckGo open on the right to fact check you guys as we go through the presidential debate tonight.
So
Shout out to
first thing
DuckDuckGo. We are not being sponsored.
I think me and Abby's campaign aligns actually.
Oh, okay.
Because I think rule number 1, kick Bryce out of the country.
Rule number 1, if it's about me, at me. Anyway. Oh, there Bryce goes. Oh, look. Dang. I thought he was following the policy already.
I had to go, guys. Sorry. Listen, when a woman speaks, I listen. I know that's right.
Ears on, mouth closed.
When does that start, Bryce?
You got 2 of these from the Lord and only 1 of these. So, take that note. Take that note and run with it. Anyway, so hello everybody. So I told Jake and Abby that I wanted to talk about Hazbin Hotel. First thing off.
Hazbin Hotel. But I don't think it's fair because I haven't gotten to watch the newest
Bryce?
episode. Like I didn't realize
Abby
that they
watched
both
3 out of 4 because she's crazy.
I didn't realize that 2 came out at the same time, and after I finished 3, I just like
neither.
went. Like I didn't realize. I'm watching another
See-
show right now as well. So like,
See, what happened to me was I finished watching episode 3 and then episode 4 started playing. It autoplayed. And I said, okay, I'm sitting
Now
back
hold
down.
on.
I said, okay, now I gotta sit back down, actually.
I was just too quick to like exit out, process what I just watched, and get right back to what is it? Only Murders in the Building.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
your show.
yeah, Murders in the Building. or
Something
whatever.
Murders in the Building. Yeah, getting right back to that because
That
that
was
stuff
really
is
hot on that.
good. But Hazbin Hotel.
So for anybody who hasn't watched Hazbin Hotel season 1, we
Do it
followed
now.
Miss Charlie Morningstar going through and trying to redeem some of our devilish queens in hell.
Some of the sinners.
Some of the sinners. And so it left us on a cliffhanger because, and like everybody should have already watched season 1, so too bad if this is a spoiler for you. So it ends on a cliffhanger of she kills Mr. Adam, the first man, Gaitina.
She does. Slays
And
him.
honestly,
And
a
not
woman
the good
killing a man
kind.
really just set us for what we needed because I really think that spoke volumes.
It gave very Sabrina Carpenter of her.
So then season 2, we start with her not knowing about one of our queens who died during the battles through Penchus actually getting to wake his way up to heaven.
Well,
And I'm
now
just
you're
curious how
know
spoiling
that.
it.
Yeah, wait. First of all, make a note in this. Like, if you haven't watched the show yet,
Spoiler
please do
alert.
not listen to what we're talking about because we're spoiling it all.
No, yeah, because
Spoiler
you're watching with
alert.
us. I want them to be ready with the episodes. Because we'll probably, honestly,
Well, they don't know
by
that
the way,
yet.
guys, Abby has COVID, strep throat, a bum knee.
Wait, what all do you have?
All of the above.
She doesn't know because she has a gut. Wait, that's right.
WebMD diagnosed.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, we were like, maybe we should wait till Abby's
Wait.
better. And then we realized that it would be so non-poetic if we waited till everything was good.
Bryce decided it would be iconic to have me deathly ill while on film
So,
and audio.
also, do you know why she didn't go to the doctors today?
Do we have to talk about this one though?
No. I'm just gonna say it just to do my own horn because she didn't get back on the phone with me after 2:00 because we were both busy and I was looking up urgent cares for her and I would have
No, so
found her one.
actually, did my text go through to you, Jake?
Your phone died and you were charging it.
Yes. And if you know me, you know that I pay for everything with Apple Pay. So when my phone dies, I literally had a cart of stuff I did not check out yet. I went and got the lady and I said, "Excuse me, I'm just gonna leave my cart right here while I go charge my phone."
And
yeah, fun
also,
fact for
if
you
you
guys,
know
Abby
Abby,
has a physical card for every card in her wallet, but for some reason it's never on her.
Never.
but also if you know Abby and her phone dying is like
It's really iconic. Honestly, she might disconnect from this podcast at some point.
I'm plugged up.
Okay,
You
Abby
said,
will
"I'm ready
not
for this
disconnect from the
one."
podcast. We have to make a pledge that Abby's phone will either be fully charged before the podcast begins or plugged in.
I will always be plugged in.
That's a part of her presidential campaign, actually.
I promise to always have my phone
Yeah.
plugged in.
That's
for
oh my
you
god, the Rick
guys.
and Morty episode. Having your phone plugged in is the most important thing. Chargers are so important. Never steal anybody else's charger.
Are so important. And that's the thing
A
too, is
one
that I do
charger
have them
for all
everywhere.
Americans.
Like I have them everywhere. It's not even like I don't have a charger. Like the thing I set
And
my
they're
phone
plugged
on
into the
in my
wall, just
car,
not into the phone.
it's a MagSafe charger, but
MagSafe
what I do is
charger.
I unplug the cord from there to plug it into my phone and then forget to plug my phone back in, and so I just set my phone up there and it's not charging it.
Because sometimes she needs rapid charging because her phone died.
And you get it. You get it.
Though I will say I did just spend like
boy.
$60 on a charger block.
On
Mhm.
just the block?
That exploded. How much?
Like $60.
You said it did?
No. I don't know what Bryce said.
No, I'm saying it exploded for $50.
No.
For $50, it
literally-
better unplug itself from the wall and bring
Mm-hmm.
my phone to me when it's done charging.
Like, what percent? Can I check my battery percentage?
Oh, did you get like the?
Oh, is it one of like the 40
Did you
watts?
get like the adaptive gallium
100
one from
watts.
Apple?
I don't
it's
even know.
100
Can your
watts.
phone deal with 100? Wait, you have the 17?
17 Pro Max.
Yeah, then it can. Well, I think. I don't know. That may not be great.
Well,
for
it
it, though. That kind of
works.
scares
This
me.
is why I have DuckDuckGo open.
I'm pretty sure
Ask
I
DuckDuckGo.
threw away the box. I threw away the box.
This is actually really funny. This is going to be my resource. Just so you guys know, I never know what I'm talking about, so it's really great to have a web browser up while we're on. Okay,
Just so you
the
know,
iPhone 17
Abby did start Bryce on DuckDuck.
Oh yeah, 100%. So the
I
iPhone
won't know
17 can
pricing.
charge at a
Thank
max
you.
speed of 40 watts. But like, so obviously any charger that you have over 40 watts will like charge it at the 40 watts because it will downwatt it.
So then okay. So I'd be okay just buying a 40 watt one and it would do the same thing as.
Yeah, and you would be like at your max, yeah.
But that one is like you can probably double that one and
Well,
charge
and that
like your
one's nice
iPad and your
because-
MacBook.
Yeah, I was about to say that one's probably
It
nice
was
because
40.
it would work on the MacBook and it would charge the iPad faster.
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder if it
why
would work
I
on a
specifically
Switch.
bought it. I bet you
Oh,
any
probably
money it
good.
would.
Well, remember I discovered, Bryce, was that you that was on the phone with or Jake? Remember I discovered that like Switch is very particular. Like I had to use the Switch cord and the Switch block just to
And that makes
charging
sense.
it when it's not on the dock, you can do, but when you have it on the dock, you
Wow.
can't. It was very weird.
I think that makes sense for the Switch of all things. But yeah, so anyway, Hazbin Hotel.
Welcome to being
Circling
friends with
back.
us.
So just so you guys know, if anybody knows Brittany Broski, big inspo for Bryce, and definitely I would love the vibe of our podcast to be the Broski Report. And I think that we all have just enough ADHD in us to do it.
I've never been diagnosed.
Maybe too much.
Yeah, maybe too much. WebMD.
Dr. Google.
Miss MD. Episode. I guess let's just, you know what? It's a recap show. We're doing Hazbin Hotel for this week's recap. So, episode 1. How do we all feel about episode 1? So that was the Charlie side of the beginning of the season. So that was we didn't know about Sir Pentious yet.
Episode 1. So
we didn't know about
Sir Pentious. Baxter decides to stay at the hotel.
Yes.
Everybody's there like.
Oh yeah, that's the start.
Charlie's like excited that they're there, but they're not there to like be redeemed. They want to. Yes, they're there because they want to like team up and all. They discovered like, oh, we might be able to kill the angels because we took one down. We can take more down. Which, by the way, foreshadowing, if we go all the way back to whenever, what's her name was like, no, I don't want to tell them I was able to kill that angel because then they'll all think that they could kill an angel. And she was right.
Carmela was right.
Look how they
we love
reacted.
Carmela.
Well, you didn't know her name,
song
right?
Is so good. But no, we love her songs. Miss
No,
Carmela.
I did love her song. I did love her song. But anyway.
No, we love Carmela.
And so, Baxter decides to stay there. Angel and, what's his name?
Husker Dust.
Husker, yes.
Husker. Angel and Husker having their little, like, back and forth moment, and then...
Which is kind of drama and tea.
Oh, and Charlie is going through it over Sir Pentious. She's trying, she's in denial so bad, but she is going through it. She's not okay.
She's pretending. I love, and okay, so let's talk. So just so
when
we
she
know,
meets Baxter, she was like, "Oh, so you're Sir Pentious? Oh, guys, everybody, this is Sir Pentious.
Yes, this is Sir Baxter or Baxter Pentious or Baxter." I love. So just so we all know for context, me and Jake obviously are really musical people because I release music under KB and Jake is my co-writer and all this jazz. And we do music all the time, and Jake helps out with music at the school and blah, blah, blah.
Don't name the school.
You're a great writer.
I was like, my name is at the bottom of one of those songs, too.
Yes.
Am I nobody? Anyway.
You said.
But so I want to talk about the songs in episode 1 really, really quickly, because I love the opening song.
I do.
I love the
I do like
song.
it. I wish that some
Jake,
people had more parts in the opening song.
Let me get the name here for us real quick. But Jake, how do you feel about it?
I think the opening song was pretty good. I think it was my favorite part of it. I don't know. I am definitely a villain lover through and through. So...
Oh, the Vox's part of this song is really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Vox's part of the song.
Just in general, me and villains.
Yeah, no, me too. We're like
after
this.
The Last Airbender, my favorite character, Azula.
Just so we all know, I love Charlie Morningstar in the show.
Bryce loves Alistair.
I love Alistair.
I do like Alistair. I really do like...
He's like an anti-hero.
Nifty.
Which is interesting.
Nifty.
Yeah, I love Nifty, but like I don't know who I would say my favorite is. I have a feeling my favorite is going to be...
Angel Dust?
No, we haven't met her yet. We haven't met who I feel like is going to be my favorite.
Lilith. Well, we've seen her.
We've like met her in passing, yeah.
Yeah, we've like, no, we haven't. We've seen her and we've seen like memories of her, but we haven't seen, like, we haven't like met her. Like, we don't know enough about her character.
What's her name made a rum-pum-pum at her at the finale, though? What's her name on?
At the finale?
Luke?
That was season 1.
Yeah,
Luke. Yeah, because Luke comes in and she's like, you gotta go deal with your freaking people. And she goes,
yeah.
Excuse you?
But yeah, so it has been guaranteed. Trust Us. Love. One of my favorite songs. Once we get up there, I really like my favorite song.
My favorite song.
Once we get up there was good.
Once we get up there.
Yeah, I think that the least favorite thing... Oh, copyright. I think my least favorite thing about that, honestly, is sometimes I do hate, and this is just a personal preference of Bryce's, I don't hate. I just don't always like whenever really heavy talky parts in songs. I don't like that one like little break where he's like, "I'm gonna come down and crush you all," and you're blah blah blah, and then once we get like, then he just sweeps back into it, and I'm like,
So you
because
don't
the
like the
talky parts
part
are kind
in
of fun, but he was a little bit too much. I think a little bit too. Possibly is my problem.
This happens a lot, guys. Chat, these two, I don't know where they are to me, but this happens a lot.
But those are two songs, so definitely really good starting of the season songs. And I like episode 1. I feel like episode 1 and 2 being from two different perspectives. I think that the only issue that I really had with them was they felt I almost wanted them to ironically pack a little bit more in because Abby's being interrupted. I wanted them to pack more in because since they were of the same timeline but two different episodes, we kind of like get halftime.
it's
she said,
tell him it's time for bed.
We see her mouth. Oh, what the fuck? Is that a piece
Wow.
of cheese?
No, that's a Pringle. That's a Pringle. That was so easy to tell.
Okay, shoot me, Pringle police. Holy dead body on the chair. Anyway, but Jake, we're having a one-on-one now. But anyway, episode 1 and 2.
I'm still here.
Episode 1 and 2. Okay, Abby's back. Episode 1 and 2, I kind of wish that they could put a little bit more into each episode.
Sorry. I had to. Abby, you missed it. Bryce started talking, so I had to be like,
anyway.
Almost choked on that Pringle.
We're having a serious conversation. No, episode 1 and 2, I almost wish that they I wish they put more into them because they're the same timeline twice. So I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more. Because I do feel like I think about the reporter who's like, and should I kill my wife? 4 times.
So Bryce wanted a 45-minute long episode.
What did you say?
You wanted a 45-minute long episode.
Honestly, but I don't even need that. I just even needed it just more content. Like just maybe cut out 3 of the I killed my wives and like put something else in there. You know what I mean? Because it really, the first time it was funny. He was like, we're now at the hotel. Also, should I kill my wife? And it's like, okay, I guess I can get a giggle out of that. But then he was like, now Charlie's talking to them. Now this, I'm still thinking about killing my wife. Like, girl, like, forget ridiculous. And at the very end of the episode, I killed my wife.
I shouldn't have killed my wife.
That's what he says. He said, I regret it.
But I made front.
Wait, can you close that?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I just wish that, like, most of the season can be very jokey, and I think that's iconic. I wish that they would have, like, allowed a little bit more of, like, starting the story off on a, like, dense foot or something, you know what I mean? And then, like, allowing more jokes as we go through. But yeah, episode 1 music, 10 out of 10. Truly. Are we all feeling that way? Because it's literally has been guaranteed, and once we're up there.
I'm being held at Nerf gunpoint right now.
It's bedtime.
What is going on? Why is Abby being assaulted?
Yes, I do think you would do that to me. I just said you remind me of... Anyway, yeah. What songs are we talking about?
Oh, so has been guaranteed, and once we get up there, like the songs for the episode 1, 10 out of 10.
Yes.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
And the episode...
No, that's going to be my favorite part of this whole podcast.
It's just like the click.
The episode...
Me and Abby's eyes widen. Bryce
Both
is still like...
I said, is he in the building?
Is the shooter in the building?
I didn't want to say that.
It's Bryce's bob following after his head.
I know these headphones really do something to my hair, just so we all know. I'm always looking a little crazy on the podcast with my headphones. But I can't do that, like, over the hair. I don't know. Okay, but so music talent. How do we all feel about the music, though? I want a rating. Everybody give it out of 10 stars. Is the vibe that I'm looking for the first 2 songs in context of episode 1. Obviously not like their rating of songs of all time, just how they fit in episode 1 and how we feel like it's a good start to the series, not a good start.
They fit.
And if it's like a good start or not a good start.
I hate being sick, by the way.
Once we get up there, 10 out of 10.
Okay, period.
It has
Wait,
been
once we get up there,
guaranteed.
is that the one that they're singing together?
Once
It's the
we
three.
get up there. Yeah, the 3 V's.
Oh,
In the
no.
shining kingdom of
I
God.
really like the song Serpentious and
Oh, we're not there
Oh,
yet.
that's later. We're talking about episode 1, 2, 1. She's talking the piss, guys.
I said nothing. Well, okay, if you want to talk about spoilers, Bryce just showed me a song from a freaking episode I haven't even
True.
seen yet, guys.
Bryce is good at doing
How
Well, no,
rude.
it's not that. We're going to spoil all of it, but we're going episode by episode.
You're going to spoil it for Abby?
No, because she's just going to, like, we're just going to have to coexist with that. Anyway, but...
He was so mean to me.
So,
Guys,
right
I need
now,
your ratings.
Bryce is the liability. I was like, where is he at? I don't know.
Bryce is the
Yeah.
liability.
So Jake gave Once We Get Up There 10. Abby, how are you feeling about Once We Get Up There?
I feel like 10 is being a little bit too...
For the
I'm gonna do,
episode
like-
itself. Not
Oh,
for
for
like...
the-
Abby's that
how it
teacher
fits
that's
in.
like, well, if I give
For
you
the
100%,
whole
that means
episode
you're perfect and
overall?
nobody's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Not
the
for, like,
context of the
your
episode
favorite
and
song.
like the start, yeah. Yeah, we're looking at each song and how it connects to the episode kind of in a way. Like, is it a good fit for the episode?
Does the song fit the episode? 10 out of 10. Yeah, I think it fits the episode very well.
Okay, period.
Or like
And then how about-
9.9, like 10.
9.9. Abby's the teacher. It's like, if I give you 100%, that means you're perfect and nobody's perfect.
No, I'm not. But like, what if I do finally see something that is a 10 and now I'm like, oh wait, maybe that was a 9 because this is it. You know what I'm saying?
Context. How about Hazbin Guarantee? And so once we get up there, it's like it's strong 9 or 8 or 9 for me because I'm like, it's not like, oh my lord, but it's like very, very
But
strong.
But you guys
Because
heard
it's
chat,
not
you
that
heard what he said about
unbelievable
me.
for me. Now,
Got it.
Hazbin Guarantee on the other side, unfortunately, 10 out of 10 for Bryce. Easy peasy lemons or squeezy. I love Hazbin Guarantee more than anything in the world.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole idea of the song like is very fitting to not only the episode itself, but like the entire like
But
series
like the
too.
episode 1, yeah.
Yeah. Or
How
the
would you
entire
feel about
season.
10 out of 10?
I would say 10 out of 10.
Jake has a hand, giving us the hand out together.
Oh, I think
you
I
going,
know
Jake?
why.
Well, no. I thought I heard something. So I like turned down my volume and I was like,
Me too. I thought I heard something too. Nope, didn't hear it.
No, we didn't hear it. Ring, ring, ring. We're not on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Joe, did you get that? No.
Joe.
No. So I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, we'll roll with that. That's okay.
Okay, can we dig into it though? Like, what
So
was
I
the what was it
God.
lacking?
I think that song, like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't give me hate because you're hating the wrong person because I'm the most hateful person and you don't want to deal with that. Don't open that can of worms.
Jake has a screenshot from a text message he received 10 years ago.
Quite
It wasn't
literally,
that
we're
long
not
ago.
exaggerating. It was like
It
9.
was 6 years ago. I don't
Anyway,
forget.
continue.
But no, I think like for me personally, in my opinion, it just
Hey, Mike.
started off like too quick. Like we didn't get a chance to like build up enough. It was just like,
Yeah.
okay, beginning scene, that song, and right into it. Like I was just like, like I love it. I wish we had more of a better build up. So I agree with you. Like I wish it was more condensed, so there was more things building up to it. Or I wish we had another situation like
I do feel
the
that a
first
little
song
bit.
in season 1, which like that was like
Oh, it kind of
us
led into
getting
like
to
the opening
know.
of the episode almost.
Yeah, it also was like us getting to know the purpose. Like this one was just like
Which I do feel like this one did set that up kind of though in a real way because I think it really established that obviously like the V's are very solidly going to be trying to edge themselves into heaven this season. Charlie is going to be like having to fight people out of the gate because they're going to be trying to come to the hotel for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? I feel like that sets
she
a lot
didn't
of
know that
up.
yet.
So she was
Well, I feel like she did because literally at the end of the song, some people started to leave because she was like, I don't like violence because that's why it transitions as people are leaving the hotel.
Yes,
Because
but
that's
that
the group of people that walks out is what the V transition is. Because even like right after the song, then she's like, if you don't want to be here to be saved, then get out, and they all left.
yes, but that's after the song.
I
Well,
know, but
no,
you know
yeah,
what I
because
mean.
what
Like this
started
song
the
like
song
set it
was,
up.
yeah, what started the
Baxter.
song was people like, well, yeah, but people were like talking about how they wanted to like join together to kill an angel.
Mm.
Like we all want to kill an angel, and then that's when the whole thing started.
Also,
Like
guys,
this
let's just
isn't
do
what
a
the
quick
Hazbin
shout
Hotel
out
is
though
about.
to the fact that this is a really good musical TV show.
It is.
Like, I just love the fact that we're getting a musical TV show because I like that's my everything.
Especially like with the storyline. Yeah, I think it's
Literally. No, I definitely
and
feel
the
that. Okay.
merch is great.
I have to acquire
Disclaimer, if
some
you're a
merch.
child,
I talk about that t-shirt that I got from Hot Topic, and it's not like any
Oh,
other
yeah.
t-shirt that you would get from Hot Topic. Like it's good quality. And it's
Literally, my
Hazbin
Hollister's.
Hotel.
yeah,
Yeah.
disclaimer,
Mine's
if
the
you
loser
are,
baby.
yeah, disclaimer, if you are a
First
child,
sneeze.
make sure you consult your parents first before watching this
Very
because,
much, yeah.
You probably shouldn't be watching us if you're a child.
Well, if you're 18 or older, we're good. If you're like 16, we may be
We're
a
not
decent influence for
condoning
you.
children viewing.
Ah,
Turn
Sheila
off
holla
your
holla
iPad, lock your Kindle, give your mom her
Lock your
phone back.
Kindle and stop buying V-Bucks.
here, dad, here you go.
yeah.
And no, I was
Okay,
not
so
talking to Bryce.
so so
Yes,
episode
Abby,
two.
Abby.
So episode 1 and 2 are duet episodes as we were talking about. So episode 2 is the same timeline, but all from Heaven's perspective. And I think the thing that I love about episode 2 is we get to see Serpentine.
Bless
So
you, bless
sorry.
you.
I can't do this.
The flowers smell pretty.
I wish I could smell how pretty they smelled.
Do you need to go blow your nose, Abigail?
But the problem is it won't come out.
Okay, just keeps blowing. She is.
Just say extra prayers for me if that's what you believe in, guys. Please.
Lord, please watch over our best friend Abigail. She is fighting for her life, darling.
Like if I turn my head this way, I'll be able to breathe in a couple seconds, guys.
Oh, very. And that's the way to do it. Shift it around.
Continue.
But so episode 2 is the episode 1 and 2 are duet episodes. So episode 2 takes place in heaven. We get to see Serpentius again, which is so crazy, and we get to learn his backstory. And like I just loved his cute little backstory of so just for context for all of you, so like Serpentius gets saved. We don't really, in reality, we don't 100% know like the full science behind how people get saved yet. But the context that we get is that Serpentius stands by and watches a ton of people get murdered, and says nothing about it, even though he knows the identity of the murderer. So the prerogative in line that we kind of draw is Serpentius died saving his friends instead of being a bystander. So he kind of repented for his sin because his sin was being a bystander that said nothing. Instead, he became a bystander that took action.
Yes. And
You
I think
know?
that is the whole idea, is that it's not just what he did, but it's the fact that what his sin was and then what he did.
Yes, yeah, like you seem to
Redemption.
have to perform. Yes. So I love episode 2 a lot because I don't know why, because this happens in a later episode as well. I love learning about a sinner's history. That
too.
was really interesting for me because I feel like because in the pilot we get to learn a little bit about angel dust on the YouTube pilot, but like we don't get a backstory like this. It was so interesting and cool to like see who Serpentius was before he got sent to hell. Like I loved it.
We do get little bits and pieces as well.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? Like we've heard a little bit about obviously like what like Charlie's
they
past. We've
came
heard a little
from.
bit about like Vaggie. What is her name?
Vaggie.
Vaggie's past.
I said
And you know what?
Vaggie at
That's actually a
first.
horror story that Abby wrote.
I
As
said
Husk would
Vaggie
call her,
at
as Husk would
first.
call her, Vagine.
Vagine. I called her the right thing at first.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we do hear
but we
Vaggie
get
and
bits and
Charlie's past.
pieces.
But the thing is about them is like they're hell and heaven born, so they're not like lost souls, which is why I think they're interesting because like Serpentius, Alistair, these are all people that were humans that got sent down to hell.
Can we actually talk about that for a second too? Oh wait, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think Baggy is heaven-born.
Well, and that is kind of the tea that I've been clocking into because it seems like the context is, and it is intriguing, and I do want them to dig into it. It seems like the context is that Adam led them, and he was obviously a human that died, but since he was like the first human, he became more powerful than the normal holy soul. But it seems like what's her name? His right hand man. I forgot her name already again.
Lute.
I always do.
Lute seems
Lute.
like the context of Lute is that she seems heaven-born, which leads me to assume that all the other angels are, because it seems like her whole world was heaven. Like she's made it like that because we've seen other souls that were granted access to heaven and they look very different than the normal angels. Because like all the citizens in episode 2 look very different from the normal angels. Like whenever
Well,
we're
I
in the
think
council room, the seraphims look very unique, and then all the other people look kind of like how the hellborn are different than the
Well,
hell's
that's seraphims
spirits.
are different because they are heaven-born.
Yeah,
I think the only reason that Lute and them look different is because they're like on the extermination team, I think.
yeah.
So like
It
they
is
have
intriguing.
that
I am intrigued because I don't know if we've ever gotten an answer on if they are or not.
because
Though.
Baggy was also on that same team. But
Yeah,
can we talk about how you said like Charlie is hellborn, right? So
yeah,
she's putting together this hotel to help all of these sinners be redeemed. However, if it like comes down to it, like she can't necessarily be redeemed because she is hellborn. So like does she ever stand
yeah.
a chance of going to heaven herself? So she's gonna help all of her friends get there and then what?
And see the
Very
interesting
selfless of
context.
her.
Yes,
Or
and
does
the
she think
interesting
about that?
and the interesting context too is I just had the revelation a little bit ago that another interesting snippet is like case in point Lucifer. Lucifer is not a human soul. He is an angel.
He's a
Like
seraphim.
he's one of the yes, he's a seraphim. Um and one of the interesting contexts there is technically there's a space where Lucifer could be redeemed though because he was damned to hell.
So he could be,
Where
but then where does
where
that
it
leave
sounds like
Charlie?
regular yes because it sounds like regular hellborn and heavenborn like it sounds like seraphims cannot be sent to hell and it sounds like hellborn can't be sent up to heaven is kind of the context that we get in a hell of a box, which is a separate
Yes.
show but in the same universe. That's the context that we get in that show, is that that's how that works because that's why they need portals between those dimensions because they can't be sent up to heaven or sent down to hell. They need a bridge. Because same with the seraphims, like the seraphims can't actually fly down to hell. They create like a little portal that allows them into hell,
Portal.
vice versa. And I think that that's maybe the T is like nothing was stopping Charlie from staying in heaven forever aside from they physically kicked her out. But like she wasn't like weakened by being up in heaven, you know what I mean? So I guess technically speaking, all the hellborn and heavenborn, if they have access to the portals, they can just go down there for however long they want.
Fair.
Which I do think is the interesting context with Vaggie because she was sent down to hell, but I guess so was Lucifer. So like I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that
And
means that Vaggie's a soul or if very rarely seraphims can be cursed down to there.
I find it very interesting and ironic why she was sent down there.
And it's weird because I don't know if she, I guess in a way, I don't know if she really was because she was more trapped down there
Yeah,
because they
because
kind of
they
just
cut off her
abandoned her.
wings.
Yeah.
They cut
And
off her wings
abandoned
because she
her.
was protecting a demon child.
Yeah.
And that's
Because
what I'm
as far
saying, the
as,
irony in that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
she refused to kill a demon child, and so in turn, they basically left her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that
Yes.
just seems kind
Because I
of.
think the
But
context
then
is, if I
Sir
remember
Pentious
correctly,
risked his life, and they all were like, no, he shouldn't be here. He's a terrible person.
mm. And that's why I did like, so we also get the introduction of the voice of God in this episode. And I really loved the way that, who is the voice of God, who is a seraphim that is the voice of God, like the seraphim that supposedly speaks directly to God.
So I was
Yes.
actually, what's her name who did the series? Vizzy Pop?
Yeah, if it's about.
Do you know what's the one character on Hell of a Boss that looks like an owl?
I love.
Oh, hold on.
Can't remember his name, but I love him. I guess I don't love him a lot, but I can't
Hold on,
remember
I'll
his
figure
name.
it out.
Pull up
Hold
DuckDuckGo.
on.
What are we doing?
It's not
I
Asmodeus,
know.
is it?
It's something like
No.
that. No, that was the guy. That
That
was
was
the guy.
like the big guy.
Stolus.
Stole. Okay. So he, I forget what she called him, but like he is like the hell representative of that species. Like not like species, but like that type of creature. So he represents more like owl like where she's supposed to be representing a phoenix.
Oh, so he's a Goetic demon, which is one of like the higher echelons of the demon race.
Yes, and so in turn, she is like that. So owl, phoenix. That's kind of
Yeah, there was a
okay.
specific word she used for it.
Yeah, he was the Goetic prince of hell.
Like the
Like
prince of hell.
species
Okay.
wise. I don't know.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, that's all it says for species. Goetic demon, prince of ours, Goetic, host of Moon Festival. But yeah. So like that's even like that's an interesting context because even there, like he's one of the because he is his family is not one of the ringleaders, but every leader of every ring of hell also seems to, in context, have access to heaven for one reason or another. But heaven can also kick them out at any point. But like, it's very odd.
Very
What was our
strange.
original thing? What was I looking at for original?
Voice of God.
Oh, Voice of God, yeah. Because I wanted to see them. I wanted to see if they had any context for her real quick. See, guys, this is why DuckDuckGo is really helpful. This will be very useful in this podcast. Oh, Speaker of God is what her name is. Oh, okay. They have her listed as an angel.
I might have to go blow my nose, guys. BRB.
Go try and blow your
Oh.
nose.
Okay,
I'm
girl,
gonna
you got this.
try. Wish me
Just
luck.
mute your mic. So, like, they have like angels of heaven, and then they have in the members of the angels of heaven the seraphims, virtues, exorcists, cherubs, and winners. Because we do see the cherubs in Hell of a Boss. We see the cherubs make an appearance, and they also. Oh, and you know what? They get kicked out of heaven too. Actually, I forgot all about that because they kill somebody in the overworld, and they get stuck in the overworld then because they get kicked out of heaven because they try to go back through, and then the cherub boss goes, "So you guys actually killed a human, so you actually can't come up. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't want that to happen, but yeah." Anyway, just very interesting, yeah. But it seems like they do have the Exorcist listed there, so I guess if we find out that Vaggie is like officially only an exorcist. Oh, she is listed as a member of the Exorcist. I guess she's technically an angel. I don't know. And that would probably make sense because I feel like there's probably some tea with. Well, actually, that's literally what Abby's doing very well. That's literally what Lucifer got sent down to heaven or hell for. I guess is like low key, like forming relations with a human soul because he formed relations with a human soul, not a heaven-born. Which that wasn't the only reason, but that's definitely like part of it because they were like, "What are you doing?" It's very interesting.
Do we
Anyway,
want the real story of why he was like the not the real story, but like the story they tell us,
Spill it.
or like
I mean,
because God started making so Lucifer was his right hand man. He idolized Lucifer. Lucifer was great. Lucifer was like, and then he started making human beings, and he started putting more into them. He loved them more, is what Lucifer felt. And Lucifer got very upset and very like offended. Well, they're not perfect. They're not an angel. They're not me, but you love them oh so much, and started questioning God. And because he was questioning God and was being a little bit aggressive too, and a little bit like hostile, quote unquote, God casted him down to hell.
yeah.
His
And
firstborn
it
son,
seems,
essentially.
and it seems even
Not
in the
firstborn
context
son,
of
but
the
like,
show, yeah, and it seems like even in the context of the show, that is kind of the tea because they kind of talk about how, at the beginning, Lucifer interacting with them is not a problem. It's when he tries to like give them more information and like
yes.
like become friends with them that is the reason that he get cast off, because he gives them information they're not supposed to have. He gives them like, the apple that gives her too much information about the knowledge of the universe. Which I always forget. What's the Lilith adjustment though that we get in this story? Because it's not. He doesn't give the
So
apple to Eve. He gives it to Lilith. Isn't that
Oh, you're
Lilith
saying
is the original
in
woman.
Hazbin Hotel?
If you look back biblically, not
yeah, I was gonna
in
say I don't
Christian
really
Bibles.
know
I believe Lilith is a
in
thing in
Hazbin.
Judaism.
No, Lilith. Yeah, Lilith was the first. She was the first woman before Eve.
So what happened was God made Eve the same way she made Adam, which I
That's
can't
why
remember.
that's why Eve was made from Adam's rib, they say. Whereas Lilith just was. Like Lilith and Adam were created together. Lilith wasn't made of Adam, but then Eve was made of Adam. Yeah.
Okay, T actually.
Which, like, never mind. It's gonna take us down a whole nother path, and we'll stay on Hazbin Hotel.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the actual beginner is.
Yeah, how
I forget
Hazbin
how it
Hotel
actually
introduces
begins.
Lilith, I really don't know, other than the fact that that is Lucifer's baby mother.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if they're still together. I do know that she says, I miss mom. And he's like, I miss her too, kiddo. Like, that type of thing.
And I kind of forgot about that. So actually, I guess I totally forgot about that. So I guess Charlie is kind of a half-blood then.
Yes, and that's why
Because
it's
she's
just a little
born
bit
of a human soul and
confusing.
a demon. Yeah, I didn't
Because
even think
where
about
would
that.
she, like, it kind of is even more iconic for her doing what she's doing. Because if you think about it, she has, like, both essentially in her. She has like the human being and the ability to sin and do bad, and then she also has like the original heaven born in her. So she's both divine and human at the same time. And so she's like, of course, what better person to be trying to redeem these sinners, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah. So in the context of the show, that is what happened. So Lucifer, the only thing that they show us is Lucifer gives Lilith the apple, and that gives her free will, and that's why she has the ability to fall in love with him. And whenever they fell in love, that's why they casted them both down the hell, because that was like a forbidden love. Because humans were only supposed to love humans, and demons were angels were only supposed to love angels. Yeah, so they casted them down the hell because their love was forbidden, which kind of tragic.
And that's kind of actually the story essentially is that, yeah, I mean, and that kind of follows suit because that's kind of exactly what happened to Lilith, and that's why God ended up making another woman from Adam.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
And then that's why he had his last and final straw when they both ate the apple, and he was like, you know what? Screw it then. You guys want to know shit? Here you go. Know it.
Yeah, he said, bro.
He's like, I was trying to protect. It's kind of like a parent trying to protect their kids. Yes, I was gonna say it's like a parent trying to protect their kids from like all of the bad things in the world, and like the kids keep going online and seeing it anyway, and now the parents are like, all right, fine, go deal with it, go get a job, go pay bills.
Yeah, go have
and
fun.
the kids
I'll
are like,
be here.
no.
Yeah, he's like, I'll be here. See you when you get back. Anyway, but so interesting. But yeah, interesting context. Definitely something I'm gonna watch out for this season, seeing what opportunities arise for the conversation around Vaggie, and also conversation around Charlie, because I'm wondering what will happen with Charlie. So,
and let's talk about how Lute is seeing Adam too.
Oh yeah, was like secretly in love with Adam, because it seems like he didn't reciprocate it. Because
that's not what I meant, but yeah, you're right. But I meant like she's like seeing, like he's dead, but she's like seeing him, and like I guess that kind of opens up that she obviously
that too, because it was really
him.
tea when she was like, "Did you know how I felt about you?" And he was like, "I don't know, because I only know what you know." And I was like, "That's crazy." So this episode we get really slay, like you. This was my Arc de Triomphe. This was
Emily singing
beautiful,
to Sir
mwah, like one of my favorite songs in all of the world, because we know how I feel about heaven songs for some reason. Sarah's Confession, and then Gravity, which, like, when I first heard Gravity, really hit me. When I continued to listen to it, for some reason I did not like it. I have now found a middle ground where I definitely don't not like it, because I like the rock. I like Adam's rock influences. I don't know why, but I don't like how they play Gravity a lot for some reason personally, and I don't know why. And I'm hoping that she has a song in a later episode that I'm like, oh, here it is. You know what I mean? I don't know why. Gravity, and Gravity I think is cool. I think for the episode, Gravity is a really impactful song because it's very real. Them being like, they're gonna feel the gravity of my hatred, like, but so like you, our girl singing to Sir Pentious about not getting back down there, and the line of the song, "I'll see you all in hell."
I liked the ending whenever she was like, maybe that didn't make him feel better.
Yeah, I love her. It's just like
he like
freaking
curled
out.
up and he's like,
but it's a 10 out of 10 for me, Like You. I love Like You so much. I think it's a great intro to heaven too, because we did get to see heavenly folks finally, because we got to see them a little bit whenever Charlie was up there, but it seemed like there was a lot of people in the
You got to
audience
see more
for
of a
Sir
diversity
Pentious.
within them.
Yes, and that was really cool because now we get to see that they kind of are like that, like the souls damned to hell, where they don't keep their human form at all. They all are very unique forms that are like angelic in shape, but like not a human, which I think is very interesting because I expected them to be really human and then the demons to be really monstrous to kind of make a contrast. But instead, I do think they're smoother. I didn't see anybody with sharp teeth, jagged edges. So it definitely is giving much like of a safer image, but still was very like experimental kind of, which I found interesting. And I was like, okay, so they're, everybody looks different. Like it's not like these are humans and these are the monstrous, horrible things.
everybody
You know what I
looks
mean?
different.
Everybody looks different. I like that though, because I like that they're not drawing this contrast of like, here's all the souls that were saved and they still look human and they look beautiful or whatever. And then here's all the souls that were damned and they're just monsters and gross and hard edges. Even the angelic humans are softer and I don't think as rigid, so it is giving like a little bit of like a ooh, we were saved vibe. But they all look weird. So I'm like, okay.
I just thought it was like, and I don't know what I expected, but whenever we saw Sir Pentious's like history and then to see him like his past and then to see like I don't know, I just thought that when he got to heaven maybe something would have changed. Like he's still a snake. Like he still looked the same way he did when he was in hell, you know?
Yeah.
So like I don't know what I expected. Like I said, I don't know if I expected to see him back in his like human form or something, but I don't know. Expected something different, I think.
I think I kind of like it a little bit though because it's almost like a status symbol. Because it's like, hey, my soul I got this form for being damned to hell, but now I get
But my
white
soul
clothes and
was
all this
saved.
because I redeemed myself. Yes, and I kind of like how that's almost like a badge of honor because
Like
it's like,
wearing
oh,
it
why
as
do
a
you look
badge,
like
yeah.
that? Because I fell down and came back up, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
I was like, oh.
That
That's
is
why I
true.
think I
That is
liked
true.
it.
That is true, yeah.
But anyway, I want songs. So like you, 10 out of 10 for me.
10 out of 10.
9
Critic?
out
We're
of
losing you
10.
for a second. Oh, 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh. Why'd you say that?
I think it was just.
Well, actually, we shouldn't even ask anymore. But continue.
It was just a lot for me. And I think it was just like the vibe. Like I loved it, but I don't think it was the best out of the episode, in my opinion. Because
Okay.
I'm gonna give the best out of the episode my 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Like You was the context of after we get introduced to the voice of God in episode 2. She asks Sir Pentious to explain himself. He gives us his whole backstory, and then we kind of connect the dots on why he probably got saved. And then she's like, "Well, you're redeemed, baby. Welcome to heaven." And then she kind of just leaves, and it's kind of slay. So then our girl Emily, the Seraphim, gets to take him around heaven and introduce him, and that's where Like You comes from. So then, after they do that, Sir Pentious gets to mourn with her about not being able to see his friends because he's very upset that he can't go back down. And then Emily gives him little egg buddies, little egg angels.
Like his little egg
make him
buddies
feel
that he had in
better.
hell. Yes.
Yeah, but they're little angels. Love.
And they are so cute. When he lays down on the bed and he starts crying and they like crawl up and crawl by him, like
Yeah.
that was so cute.
Yeah. No, the funniest part was he goes, "I love them," and then they all start. I forget what they were saying, but they were like,
I can tolerate them.
and he goes, "I'll tolerate them," and I really ate that up. But so then we move on from that scene and we go back into the chambers, now empty, and we have Sarah sitting with the voice of God, the
Speaker of God.
speaker of God,
Speaker of
God. and she does Sarah's confession to the speaker of God.
10
I
out of 10.
also give this song a 10 out of 10, unfortunately, because I
do give it
love,
a 10 out of 10.
period, because I love first of all, the context of halfway through the song, she's like, you're asking for answers that you have to answer for. She's like, I can't absolve you of your sins. I can absolve, or not even your sins. I can't absolve you of your choices, but you
Yeah.
choose where you move from here with
From
the
here.
information that you have. And I was like,
Mic drop.
literally. And I love how she says it so eloquently. And then let's just give a shout out to, who is it? Patina Miller and Liz Calloway, right?
I think so.
Liz Calloway? Because Patina Miller and Liz Calloway, because two queens of the vocal riffs.
Gagged.
Because they're back and forth. I don't know why. I loved it. Like, I need more songs with Speaker of God and Sarah for sure.
And Sarah.
And just like
So then,
I was gonna say, just like the musicality of that whole song, the movement of like each opposing part
even the
was
flow.
just so
yes.
yes.
Because the animation kind of played with that, where when one would be leading, the other one would be like physically behind them, and the other one would be leading. It would like change. So then finally we have Lute. Lute at the beginning of the episode tries to impose her now formal leadership of the Exorcist, only to immediately get bat down by Sarah and say, "Oh, you're not the leader. It's actually what's his name? Abel? Was it Abel?
Yep,
Abel?
Abel, Adam's son.
It's actually Abel, Adam's son." And she said, "What?" And he said, "Ooh."
It was the
I'm the
part where
leader.
he had said something about his dad, and she was like, he barely even liked you, and he was like, yeah, I know.
He said, "Mom." And so Luke kind of goes off on her own halfway through the episode and kind of escapes into an alley, and then has the wonderful Adam reappear in her head. And she does have a total crash out, and she sings the song "Gravity," which
Crash
I
out
really,
thing I'm about
I
to have.
really,
Anyway,
which I really enjoyed. Too real. Which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the rock elements of Gravity, and I'm really hoping that we get another rock song with Jessica Vosk that is Lute, just so you guys know, it's a voice actor, for the audience. I really do hope that we get another rock song that's a little bit more, I don't know, oomphy or just in context, because I think Gravity has a good oomph to it. I liked it. Like, personally, I would give it a strong 8 out of 10. I don't think it was bad. But I think that in the context of the songs that Adam sang in season 1, it is a rough comparison.
I see what you're saying. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not supposed to be a comparison. Maybe it's supposed to be its own.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think that it is. That's why I don't want to compare them, but it's hard not to, especially when he appears in them. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And so that's why I don't want to compare it, because I do feel like the instrumentals and the context of the song I think is great. And I do not think that Jessica Bosk didn't perform well. I think she did very well. I think that either the lyrics of the song and the context of the song maybe need to be a little different, or maybe it just needed to be placed differently, because, you know, like You and Sarah's Confession, which are very like vocal heavy songs and very different, followed up by Gravity pretty closely to Sarah's Confession. Gravity happened like the next scene. I think was a rough placement for Gravity. I think we needed a tiny bit of breathing room.
I do agree
possibly
with
that. Is what happened.
I do agree with that. It was putting it too close to some,
something very different. Yeah. So how do you guys rank it though?
Go ahead, Abby.
Real quick.
I was gonna say a 9, but Bryce has me like for the episode, because like the whole idea isn't just the song; it's like how it is in the episode. I would say maybe like an 8.7.
Okay.
Because
just knock it down
of that,
a little bit.
Yeah, because it wasn't very like, I see what you're saying with that. You know, it was a rough place to put it in the season.
Yeah.
Even it might have even done a little bit better
I think even if it was towards
In
the
the
end or something before we wrapped up, or
Yeah.
towards the beginning.
I was gonna say in the first couple of minutes, maybe, or
Yeah.
maybe even really at the end. Yeah.
Okay, Jacob.
Mr.
Fine.
Critic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10.
Oh, okay. That
Okay.
surprised me.
So, my reason behind this is like this is like Bryce, you were saying about the oomph and what else?
And I think the lyrics, I don't know why, but I think that they
So
are getting across what we are supposed to be interpreting from the song. So I don't think the lyrics are bad. I think that just, I don't know, Sarah's confession is extremely tight in its messaging. And that's why Gravity feels just a little weird just to me personally, because I think that it being so close to the other song, I really wanted something that's some like oomph messaging. And she's just kind of like, these bitches are gonna be beat under my gravity and then calls it a day. And I'm like,
so
okay.
I don't interpret it like that though.
Okay.
I also interpret it as this was her. I mean, it was her crash out moment. This was her emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's hasn't ever made it to the top of the ladder, and she keeps getting dragged down and dragged down, and it's like almost like
Yeah, and I do feel that.
But I
these
kind
bitches
of
are
feel
gonna.
like her entire personality is a crash out, if we're honest. She's
I
been
mean,
crashing
yes,
out over Adam the entire
She is
time.
very high. Yeah, she is very high most of the
but
scenes
this
that she's
is
in.
like this is the case in point where she finds out she's not going to be leading like she thought she was going to. She's no longer allowed to do what she wants to do, and
Yeah.
she lost the one person who actually did care about her.
And then
Yeah, and I
lost the
do think that
ability to get her revenge for
Yes.
killing the one person.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that I think that's the only reason I like the song is at the end she does say that. She's like, how are you going to feel when I take away the only one that you cared about? And so that like starts to show, I'm like, okay, so this is kind of explaining a little bit of like, that's why she's seeing Adam because this is the only person that she really cared about. So like
Right.
she lost him tragically and watched it. So yeah, she kind of has trauma from that and it's going to haunt her. You know what I mean? In a literal way now because Adam has now come back to haunt
And
her.
is haunting her.
Yeah. So I do think that's why
How
I
does that
ranked it.
work?
I think that's why I gave it an 8. What?
Yeah, in heaven. How does that work?
Well, and some of the interesting tea that I
How does a
still
spirit
think
haunt
we
a
need to.
spirit?
Well, go ahead, Brace. You first.
Well, I was going to say the interesting tea is so it's explained to us that holy weapons, the like specialty of them is that they can destroy a soul. So in
that's
reality,
why.
yeah, so that whenever they would come down to kill people, their souls were done. The interesting thing is, and I guess kind of the tea is, Adam kills Serpentius using his holy light, not an actual weapon, individual weapon. And they never speak on what happens with the holy powers. They only say that they say that the holy steel that the weapons are made out of can destroy human souls. They never talk about what holy powers can do.
Okay, because I was
So
wondering
that is kind of
why
tea there.
he was able to, like, why when Serpentius was killed, he was able to ascend, but whenever Adam was killed, like, he just ceased to exist.
Yeah. And so
Like,
that is the
I
small
thought
bit
maybe
of
he would
tea.
have, like, fallen,
Yeah.
you know,
And that is
especially
the
for all
small
that
bit of
he's
tea
done.
there. And I don't know if at some point maybe we'll see somebody get killed by a holy weapon and still if they repented for their sins, maybe their soul still will survive. Like maybe that's kind of how it works. I don't know. Because I think that that's maybe why they chose to have Serpentius killed that way, is so they maybe didn't have to answer that question right away.
Right away. Yeah.
Because, on the other hand, the knife that they give
Nifty.
The knife that they give Nifty, they tell her is a holy weapon because they give it to her and they're like, hey, if anybody breaks into the hotel, kill them with this. And they give her a holy knife. So we do know that what Adam was killed with was a holy knife. Yeah. So
me when a man pisses me
theoretically,
off.
because as far as we know, Adam, Eve, and oh my God, what's
Lilith.
Like as far as we know, they are just normal human souls, even though they get like extra oomph because they're the first ones. They still are just normal souls. So theoretically, Lilith, Adam, and Eve can all be killed by a holy steel weapon. But yeah, that is an interesting thing that I did catch after the fact. Because after somebody explained it to me that they mentioned that in the episode that holy steel can destroy a soul, I was like, oh, when Serpentius didn't get destroyed by a weapon, he was destroyed by Adam using his holy light.
That is
And we
fair
never
point.
really hear about what happens with the holy light, because also on the flip side, Lucifer has his eternal flames. Like, he uses eternal flames. So we don't know how those affect souls. You know what I mean?
Very true.
So it is interesting. But yeah, so I think Adam is dead for realsies, but we get him back because Lou lost her mind.
Lost her mind, quite literally.
Period.
But yeah, so first 2 episodes overall, I think were a really strong start to the season. I think those were a really good intro. And we will have a conversation about episode 3 and 4 next podcast
Because
episode,
Abby has
so
to
Abby
catch
can
up.
watch episode 4.
Sorry.
So probably how we'll do it is we'll always be 1 episode behind. So you bitches get 1 week to catch up. Or one
and
like
you have
pair of
no
episodes
excuse.
behind. Yes, you have no excuse because you have the whole week. Abby. But yeah, I'm so excited for the rest of the season, guys, in a real way.
I am too. I'm a little bit upset that there is only 8 episodes because if they keep doing it back and forth like how they're doing it, then that means realistically we're only getting 4 episodes.
So I wonder if they're not going to try and combine the 2 series.
Well, I think that they are. I don't know if they'll fully combine them. I do think that they're gonna because like in Hell of Boss season 2 or 3, I can't remember. Whatever the last season that they released of Hell of Boss, they talked about her hotel.
Yes.
So they drop the fact that her hotel does exist, so they do take place in the same universe. I think they'll keep them separate. I do think the T will be, I do think that because Hell of a Boss is approved for more episodes for their season, because that one's not a contracted show, that's just one that got put onto Amazon. So I do think probably Loki every once in a while, if they want to like resolve a storyline that's not a main storyline from Hazbin Hotel, we might see it appear on Hell of a Boss.
Yeah.
But I don't think, it doesn't sound like they want to. It does sound like they're kind of shooting for future seasons to just have more episodes, but they have to get that approved by Amazon, because I believe Amazon already approved 3 seasons.
I mean,
Can
it's
you
also
imagine
money.
Angel and no, Solstice? What is his name?
Solus?
Solus. Can you like imagine them in like the same episode?
Oh, that would be cool.
Like
I do love Solus.
Oh, I love do too. So and I love Angel. And they give like the same energy in an opposite energy kind of way, you know?
Very sensual.
Yes.
Lustful.
And I feel like
I am intrigued. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, but I am very intrigued to see, because we're starting to see sin drops, and I'm very intrigued to see who's everybody. And we can't talk about Jake, but I am intrigued to see what everybody's sins are, because I do think that Serpentius, I don't want to say was a cop out, but I do think that his sin was lighter to make it easier to like explain how they could easily like redeem him. I am so intrigued what everybody else's sins are going to be and how they resolve them. I'm very intrigued.
I am intrigued to see what everybody's sins is, because like what if some of them aren't resolvable? Like what if
yes, and like, I'm wondering if there's some sins that are like off the table.
Well, when they slipped and said like, well, not slipped and said, but when Vox had said what he said.
Never
mind. You're right. You're right. That'll be the next episode.
That's what me and Jake were alluding to.
Okay.
But yeah,
anyway.
I'm very intrigued. I want to hear more of those sins, because I'm intrigued even the ones that we had not heard anything about. Nifty, I kind of want to see what her sin was.
I feel like I can guess what her sin was.
She threw it back too hard.
I want to know what I suck at names in shows. The one that Serpentius was always going back and forth with. Yes, I want to know what hers was.
I'm intrigued.
Because like
I agree.
And Husk.
And then
and
of
Husk.
course,
even though I'm pretty sure we know a little bit.
And I think we want to learn what Angel Dust sin is too, that we might hear about in a future episode.
Again, I think we know what some of them are.
Yeah.
And we might hear more.
And Vox too, because Vox.
Yes, all of
with
them.
With the context of some backstory that they gave us about Vox, they gave us about. Oh yeah, they didn't give us. Yes, because I am noticing. So Abby, you're gonna miss something because there's like a little preview in a future episode, and we will not spoil anything, anybody. But there's some interesting things that go down with a lot of the characters that are building a lot more of their backstories in not direct ways. Like they're not giving us total context drops for everybody. Sometimes it's just what they do, what they use as a weapon, how they do stuff. And I'm very intrigued both to learn more about everybody's individual powers and also just what all that tea is. I'm very intrigued. But anyway, so I think that is our freaking Hazbin Hotel segment.
Wrap it
I
up
don't know if we're
tight with a
gonna
bow.
I don't know if we're gonna have the room to do our little game for this total episode even at some point. So we're gonna see. This has turned into a Hazbin Hotel summary podcast, and I kind of love it.
I
Hazbin
think
Hotel.
well, the
And
season's
I
going
feel
to
like
be
our
over
podcast
quick.
is maybe what.
The season's going to be over
So we're
quick.
definitely going to be a room. But this is a fun
Well,
start.
yeah,
that
it'll
we're
only
doing
be like
Hazbin Hotel
4.
recaps.
We could only do like 4 parts because we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and maybe we could even put 5 and 6, 7, and 8 together, or 5 and 6, 7, and 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So our next 4 podcasts are decided. Just so you guys know, it's actually a Hazbin Hotel summary episode with some fun pre and post sample.
Tune in if you're not interested in Hazbin Hotel. What are you doing with your life?
Wait for it. Yeah, and if you're not interested, wait 4 weeks. We'll have some interesting stuff for podcast episode 5.
Or feel free to shoot us some ideas in the comments or wherever is.
Yeah. In the reviews on Apple Podcasts, and the comments on Spotify, comments on YouTube, whatever. Whatever. But yeah, so, and hopefully we're going to record an intro. This, just so you guys, for some context, because our life really is what, I can't remember the name of the podcast anymore. What is
the Living Liabilities?
Living Liabilities.
The Living Liabilities. As a real testament, case in point, as a real testament to Living Liabilities, we're like recording this episode before the intro. And then I'm probably going to compile it all. And we're probably gonna send it out on the day of the Lord or something.
I'm gonna have to wear this outfit again.
No, we're doing different because that's kind of the point. Is everything's kind of just whatever happens. Tomorrow maybe I'll be in a 6-point business suit. Maybe tomorrow I'll be in a 6-point business suit. Jake will be in a muumuu, and Abby will be magically healed. So it would be really funny.
That's
if the
best
intro,
thing you
Abby's
could have wished on me.
fine. Abby's gonna be perfectly fine. Bryce is gonna be in a 6-piece suit. Jake's gonna be in a muumuu. Then they're gonna come into the episode. Abby's gonna be sick as a dog. Bryce's hair is pushed back, and Jake has a pimple patch on. You know, and I think that that's a really good intro for episode 1. Actually,
I love it. It's iconic.
Oh, that baby looks red. She's throbbing. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for coming back to Hell of a Boss recap episode 1 and 2. And shout out to Bryce, future Bryce, Abby, and Jake for serving intro. I hope that the intro is really amazing for you all.
_ Abby Lynn, ABBILYNN 11. It's my Instagram.
Christopher Bryce on everything, y'all.
And for now, just JAP in all the credentials.
That's aimed right at my face.
Okay, y'all. Until next podcast episode. Next episode 3 and 4, we're going to get ready. Abby is hopefully going to watch episode 4 before next episode.
I'm going to watch episode 4 as soon as we get off of here.
And hopefully you guys can see Bryce next time, because I might have a red little dot, but Bryce's skin is translucent.
So, and hopefully I can breathe next time.
But catch it, yeah. But catch it, whenever I turn sideways, disappear.
And catch it, when I close this nostril, I can't breathe.
She can't swallow anything right now.
It's going to be a whole lot of
tonsils.
Mucinex,
her tonsils are the same size as a size 12 military boot.
That they are.
Oh my god.
That's really big.
And I know that's right.
It's size 12 in children. No. I'm not talking about your feet, Abby.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about your feet.
We're talking about the kids. Okay. And you know what? I hope that your children have a great day tomorrow at school.
Bryce is hiring for a PR team.
I think I already have a PR person on staff.
Who?
It's the... Is the PR team in the room with us? Is the PR team in the room with us first?
What the heck? I am being held at Nerf gunpoint again, guys.
It's past your bedtime.
And with that, sending Abby good vibes.
Pray for me.
All right. Everybody say bye to the podcast, people. Bye. Check out everything and tune back in next week, probably on Saturday or Sunday, but we'll see.